So we're going to be out in the garage for probably most of this, but this is the Line 6 Spider 3 75 watt combo amp. And if you asked anyone on the internet whether they've owned one, heard one, or not, they'll tell you that it's just bad tone. They sound terrible. It's just, that's how the internet works sometimes. But they're not completely wrong. And I don't know if it's the speaker or the cabinet. I want to say it's more the cabinet than it is the speaker, because I've had a different speaker in here and it did sound slightly better. But the problem with these amps is they just have too much stuffy bottom end, meaning it's a bottom end that just doesn't sound good at all. So on like every preset, you got to turn the bass way down, and it improves greatly. But there's like 400 presets. So I don't think it's 400. I think I counted it before one time. Anyway, I'm going off the rails here. So I've tested it and with a speaker cabinet, and it sounds a lot better. And we'll do a blind test towards the end here, and you'll get to kind of guess which is which. I didn't film it, but I did record it and try to get as close as possible with the mic in the general same area on both speakers. One's with this, the other is with my Blue guitar cabinet, which is a 60 speaker with a 60 watt speaker with a smaller cone face. I think that's what you call it. I'm not sure. So it is a little brighter, and I might end up putting the Eminence back in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to preserve as much as possible on this amp and make it look factory. We're going to make it into a 75 watt head. They did make a 75 watt head back in the day. They also made a 150 watt head. But we're just going to make this one a regular 8 ohm, and I'll show you the finished product. Until then, we'll record every bit of it. We'll try to record every bit of it and speed up the process by a margin. And if there's some cool spots here and there where I want to stop and show you stuff, I will. So let's do it. So I'm going to take everything off the cabinet that doesn't need to be on there before I start peeling back the Tolex with a heat gun and see if that works. Like I said, it's an experiment, and then we'll see how it goes in the end. Stick around. So this isn't going to work out how I had hoped. The entire thing's made of some compressed composite BS. And every time you try to take it apart, maybe that's the problem with the tone. It's just not a good, very resonating thing. It's not plywood. It's garbage. But we're gonna stick to it. I might just stop filming because you don't want to see this. It's gonna get ugly. I got the lighting on the camera weird, but I got a cut. It is it's pretty level. So that's what we got to start with. All right. Now I gotta cut the bottom part down far enough where I can put it on there and lap the Tolex over and still make it look natural. So this is what we're looking like. We're getting there. I'm gonna have to measure this next to prep the faceplate of it. But the original plan was to have an output jack on the back with this original piece. And with that back there, it seemed like too high, so I'm just gonna rewire. This is where the speaker goes. I'm just gonna rewire it and drill a hole right here for a jack and have it built in like the real head. That's what they do. That's what they do. Let's see if I can put some screws in there, get some measurements, get it back together. So I got everything ready to go back together. It didn't come out too bad. The back, it's not the prettiest, but nobody's gonna see that. What's more importantly is the front, and around the bottoms, it looks a little rough. I mean, I still got some cleaning up to do with some Goo Gone, get rid of some Tolex glue. But for the most part, the corner covers are going to cover it up. So I'm about to put this back on the tripod, and I mounted the speaker out right there. So let's put this back in the tripod and put it back together. And there we go. We'll get some better lighting here in a minute after I get everything all cleaned up. So here it is all finished up. It actually came out really good. I don't think the original 75 or even 150 watt heads were this wide or that deep, whatever you want to call it. But it's not perfect. There are some spots like right down in here that you can see are kind of crappy. And I had these big old bass amp corner protectors, and well, I'm not sure I actually like them. The back of the amp's the ugliest, but nobody's gonna see it anyway. And right there is where I mounted the output. And the bottom, you can see the seam, but nobody's gonna be looking at the bottom of it. These corner protectors look great from here, but then you get over on this side, and they're just too big. I think I should have used a file and rounded out the edges at the sides, but it's too late now, and I don't care. It actually fits this cabinet quite nicely, and it sounds pretty good, but before I let you hear some of the tones from it, we're going to do a blind test, and at the test I'll reveal which one is which. It's just a very short one. See if you can guess which is the blue cabinet and which is the original cabinet. I recorded that yesterday before I did all this. Might be playing that wrong. I haven't tried to I haven't tried to play that one in a long time. So the reason I did all this, because it's big, it's clunky, and most of the time I keep it in the closet because it's just I don't use it that often. And I'm hoping, since I have the head on here now, and I got it connected to here, I'll use it more often. Maybe I'll even start working on the tones. On some of the tones, you still have to turn the bass way down. It's weird. Like Master of Puppets sounded too muffy and bassy to me. And there's a couple more on here, but some are really great. So I bought this as a combo about a year ago for $56 from a Music Go Round. It was missing a knob. I did spend like 20 bucks replacing just one knob. I bought it for nostalgia purposes. I had one a long time ago. Everybody said the tone sucked. I didn't quite remember. We're talking 2009-ish. And I ended up selling it and kind of regretting it, but I understand why people says it has bad tone. And sometimes it does, but sometimes you just got to dial that bass down. Even a speaker swap does help. But I think this cabinet, something about the materials used in this cabinet are just not good. There you have it. From Line 6 75 watt Spider 3 combo to a 75 watt head. If you have any questions, leave it down there in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.